All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive, terrifying domino effect of bad decisions. We're looking at how a mix of historical choices, totally failed infrastructure, and sheer human desperation created an unbelievable modern crisis in one of the most populated places on Earth. The scale of this puzzle? It's absolutely staggering.
To really wrap our heads around just how wild this is, we need to talk about the number 15. If you ever find yourself walking through the Penjaran neighborhood of Jakarta, you'll probably notice something, well, kind of unsettling about your surroundings. The buildings there have moved about 15 feet in just the last few decades alone.
And I don't mean they were picked up and moved 15 feet down the street. No, I mean they moved 15 feet straight down into the earth. The ground is literally vanishing beneath them.
Section 1. The fastest sinking city. So, you might be wondering, how is the government handling this impending disaster? Well, the sources show they basically just threw their hands up and said, yeah, we give up. Their official escape plan is to pack up and build a brand new, high-tech capital deep in the jungle. We're talking artificial intelligence, solar panels, the whole shebang. But here's the massive catch. That leaves 11 million everyday citizens totally stranded, stuck right in the sinking wreckage of Jakarta.
Section 2. A dictator's water monopoly.
To understand why the city is going down so fast, we gotta look back to the 1990s. The source material details the actions of a former military dictator named Suharto. He managed to secure this massive World Bank loan, but instead of using that money to secure the city's future, he essentially forced Jakarta to hand over control of its drinking water to two European companies that just happened to be partnered with his own son. It was a total monopoly for his cronies. And the fallout? Well, when the economy eventually collapsed, those executives pocketed an insane amount of money and just fled. They completely abandoned the city and left the water infrastructure to rot.
The reality of that betrayal hit hard and fast. Because the executives took the money instead of actually fixing the pipes, the citizens were left completely high and dry. Today, a full one-third of Jakarta has zero access to piped water. None. And the people lucky enough to have it, they're forced to pay huge sums for what the sources describe as just a contaminated liquid. The government totally failed them on the most basic human necessity.
Section 3. The Capri Sun effect.
Now, when you have 11 million people who desperately need water and the pipe system is basically non-existent or toxic, they take matters into their own hands. People started drilling their own illegal wells deep into the earth, tapping straight into the aquifer. Think of an aquifer as this massive underground body of fresh water. Actually, scratch that. Picture it like a giant pressurized watery pillow that physically supports the heavy city resting right on top of it.
The source material uses this absolutely perfect analogy for the physics here. It's like a giant Capri Sun. Imagine 11 million people plunging their straws, their illegal wells, deep into the soil and just aggressively sucking the water out of that underground pillow. As that fresh water drains away faster than nature can refill it, the pillow deflates. It flattens out. And without that underground support, the ground simply sinks, dragging the entire city down with it.
Section 4. The Great Garuda Megawall.
So, faced with this totally man-made doom, the government proposed a colossal, multi-billion-dollar engineering feat. They want to build a seawall standing an astonishing 25 meters high. To put that into perspective, that is roughly the height of an 8-story building, designed just to hold back the mighty ocean.
They call this massive project the Great Garuda. The idea is to build this giant stone wall in the shape of a mythical bird. It's designed to completely seal off Jakarta Bay from the Java Sea, acting as this ultimate final barrier to stop the sinking neighborhoods from just being swallowed whole by the ocean waves.
The Great Garuda is supposed to kill two birds with one stone. First, block the ocean from flooding the sinking city. Second, and this is the real kicker, planners claim it'll theoretically turn the enclosed bay into a massive freshwater reservoir. If it works, it solves the drinking water crisis once and for all, which stops the illegal drilling, which stops the sinking. Sounds like a total game changer, right?
Section 5. A stagnant sewage pool.
Well, local engineers took a hard look at this multi-billion-dollar plan, and they pointed out a massive flaw. The logic is painfully simple once you break it down. Step 1. Jakarta's sewage system is also a disaster, and most of the city's untreated waste flows directly into Jakarta Bay. Step 2. You build this giant wall, and yes, it successfully stops the ocean from coming in. But here's the fatal step 3. By sealing off the bay,
that exact same wall entirely stops Jakarta's sewage from flowing out.
So instead of this pristine, clean drinking reservoir, the coastline transforms into a festering, stagnant pool of trapped human waste. The source material captures this horrific reality with a quote from an expert, saying this plan is essentially seasoning the flood with the urine of 11 million Indonesians. The very water they desperately need to clean and drink would just be continuously polluted by the trapped waste of the entire metropolis.
The sources literally described the Great Garuda as a flopzilla of a solution, one born out of a symphony of problems that started with those corrupt deals 30 years ago. And it leaves us with this crucial question to take away from our explainer today. Can a giant stone bird actually save a city drowning in its own historical mistakes? Or will Jakarta, and those 11 million people left behind, simply be lost in the toxic sauce of its own making? It's a staggering reminder of how a lack of basic infrastructure can literally pull the ground out from right under you. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you next time as we break down another fascinating topic.